Vitamin D, it is also called cholecalciferol. This is its generic name. Vitamin D is not strictly a vitamin. It means that ये एक ऐसा विटामिन है जिसको हम strictly विटामिन इसलिए नहीं कह सकते because it can be synthesized inside the human body in our skin. So it means that we have studied in definition that vitamins are the nutrients that are needed in a small amount by the human body. They are organic in nature and they must be taken in the diet because our body cannot synthesize it. But there is some exception for vitamin D and for another vitamin, vitamin K as well, which is indirectly prepared inside our human body. So that is the reason that sometimes some authors have mentioned it that it is not strictly a vitamin because it can be synthesized in the skin and its major source और मेजर सोर्स भी यही है कि ह्यूमन बॉडी इसको सिंथेसाइज कर सकती है. इफ द सनलाइट इज अवेलेबल इन एडिक्वेट अमाउंट जस्ट लाइक हमारा जो रीजन है जिस रीजन में हम रहते हैं तो सनलाइट इज वेरी मच एडिक्वेट सो वी डू नॉट रिक्वायर vitamin D supplements or vitamin D to be taken in our diet because we are available with plenty of sunlight so our body can synthesize it. Yes, there are some conditions where the requirements of vitamin D can be increased. For example, in case of children, for example, in case of pregnancy, for example, rapidly growing children, adults who are doing physical work, hard work, so then they can require, and those people who are working under the roof inside the buildings they do not found time to move out in the sunlight so those people also need the supplements of vitamin D. Vitamin D function as steroid hormone. Let me show you the structure. If you look at this structure, this is 7 dehydrocholesterol, and if you remember the structure of cholesterol it was like this. The basic nucleus of cholesterol and the basic nucleus of vitamin D is the same. This ring was called, these four rings combination was called perhydrocyclopentanophenothrin ring. We studied in steroids in the lipids chapter. At position 3 there is an OH group. So those steroids which contain OH group they were called sterols. सो विटामिन डी का जो प्रिकर्सर है जिस चीज से विटामिन डी बनती है वो है 7 डिहाइड्रो कोलेस्ट्रॉल. दिस इज द फर्स्ट थिंग फ्रॉम वेयर विटामिन डी स्टार्ट सिंथेसिस and this is the whole structure of 7 dehydro cholesterol. In the presence of light, sunlight, which also contain ultraviolet radiations, this 7 dehydro cholesterol is converted into pre-vitamin D. And this is the structure. There are some structural rearrangements. You know, this is a rearrangement. यहाँ से एक bond टूट गया है. ये OH group ऊपर आया है. This is a rearrangement. यहाँ से OH group remove हुआ है. This is also a rearrangement. And methyl group is added here. This is also a rearrangement. Double bond here is a rearrangement. आप इन दोनों structures को आपस में compare कर सकते हैं. Pre-vitamin D. And if you look at this structure, this is the structure of pre-vitamin D. This pre-vitamin D is converted into cholecalciferol. into cholecalciferol. This free vitamin D in the presence of thermal isomerization. Thermal isomerization means in the presence of UV light, this free vitamin D is converted into cholecalciferol. This free vitamin D is converted into cholecalciferol, which is also called calciol or vitamin D3. Calciol or vitamin D3, and this is the final structure of vitamin D3, which is then absorbed into the blood. Written here, you can see into the bloodstream. So this is the process of vitamin D synthesis. First of all, 7-dehydrocholesterol. In the presence of sunlight, it is converted into vitamin D, free vitamin D, and in the presence of sunlight, again it is converted into cholecalciferol, which is also called calciol or vitamin D3, which is then absorbed into the bloodstream. And you should remember that this process do not require any enzyme. So this is a non-enzymatic reaction. This is a non-enzymatic reaction and it requires ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light. ओके जस्ट लाइक विटामिन ए हमने पढ़ा कि विटामिन ए में कितने दो तरह के क्लासेस हैं one is called retinoid and the other one is called carotenoid. In this case, in case of vitamin D, there are also two classes of vitamins. One is called plant source vitamin D and the other one is called animal source vitamin D. The plant source vitamin D is are these types: ergosterols and ergocalciferol. These are interconvertible to each other. You can see the structures, both the structures are available. This is ergosterol, and this ergosterol is converted, will be converted into ergocalciferol. Ergocalciferol, vitamin D2. So these are the two sources of vitamins that are obtained from the plant sources. There is no medium required for these uh, vitamins because what is the role of medium inside the skin? जो नॉर्मल कंडीशंस है उन्हीं कंडीशंस पर ये रिएक्शन होता है नॉर्मल स्किन कंडीशंस के ऊपर. Ergosterol is converted into ergocalciferol, vitamin D2, in the presence of UV radiations. This process also requires ultraviolet radiations, thermal energy, which carry out the necessary changes. For example, if you look at this molecule, so this steroidal nucleus contain 27 carbons. You can see here 26 and 27. 27 carbons are there. So if you look at this structure, there are 25 carbons as a whole. So this is the structural rearrangement, and further you can see another type of structural arrangement. This ring has been destroyed. This is the third ring, ring C. this is this has been moved to another position. If you look at this structure, this is ring A. The ring B is completely absent. This one, this is ring B. This is completely absent, and it has been converted, and three of its bonds are still remaining here. After this, ring C is there, and this is ring D. Ring D. So ergosterol will be converted into ergocalciferol, which is called vitamin D2. And these are the plant sterols. They can be called plant derived vitamin D and also called vitamin D2. So we have studied two types of vitamin D. One is plant source and the other one is animal source. The animal source vitamin D is prepared in the skin, just like in our skin, while the plant source vitamin D can be obtained directly from the plants, and it can be further converted in this way, in this manner that we have discussed now. And these processes do not require any enzyme because the process is carried out in the presence of thermal energy. Importance of vitamin D. Now you know very well what is the importance of vitamin D. Importance of vitamin D is that it is required by the human body for the development of bones in teeth, most specifically, and normally it is required. Okay, importance of vitamin D. So you know very well about the importance of vitamin D. Vitamin D is required for the absorption and processing mineralization of calcium and phosphate. जहाँ पर कैल्शियम और फास्फेट की बात आएगी वहाँ पर विटामिन डी की रिक्वायरमेंट ज़रूरी है. स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द जीआईटी, आप डाइट में कैल्शियम लेते हैं, तो उस डाइट से कैल्शियम की एब्जॉर्प्शन करना जीआईटी से ब्लड स्ट्रीम में, ये विटामिन डी का काम है. ऐसे प्रोटीन्स बनाना, ऐसे कैरियर्स या ट्रांसपोर्टर्स बनाना जो विटामिन डी की को कैरी कर सके फ्रॉम इंटेस्टाइन इनटू द ब्लड स्ट्रीम. सो दिस इज द जॉब ऑफ विटामिन डी. और फिर जब ब्लड में कैल्शियम एब्जॉर्ब हो जाता है, वहां से फिर इसको टारगेट साइट पर लेकर जाना और बोन्स पर उसको डिपॉजिट करना. ये कैल्शियम की सारी का जो पूरा प्रोटोकॉल है, ये विटामिन डी उसको प्रोटोकॉल देता है. उसके एब्जॉर्प्शन में भी हेल्प करता है, उसके ट्रांसपोर्ट में भी हेल्प करता है, और फाइनली उसके स्टोरेज में भी हेल्प करता है. सो दिस इज द मेन जॉब ऑफ विटामिन डी. विटामिन डी also Okay, vitamin D prevents rickets in children. Rickets is a disease of children. In adults, this disease is called osteomalacia. The same disease caused by the deficiency of vitamin D, but it is called osteomalacia. Another disease, osteoporosis, that usually occurs in the old age and mostly in the female group because of the deficiency of different enzymes, hormones, and hormonal changes. Osteoporosis is characterized by spongy bones. Spongy bones mean the calcium is lost, only the proteinaceous skeleton remains behind. The calcium and phosphorus is lost gradually. आहिस्ता आहिस्ता कैल्शियम और फास्फोरस उससे निकलता जाता है और बोन्स जो है वो स्पॉन्जी हो जाते हैं, सॉफ्ट हो जाते हैं एंड इजी टू फ्रैक्चर. So vitamin D can be used to treat osteoporosis. It can be used to prevent rickets. It can be used to prevent osteomalacia. These are the three main diseases. In other bone diseases as well. These are the three names only given here. Okay, vitamin D has another importance that it modulates cell growth, neuromuscular and immune function. These are also the roles of vitamin D, and it also reduces inflammation. Because vitamin D can cross the cell membrane, it is lipidal in nature, non-polar in nature. So non-polar molecule can easily cross cell membrane and it can enter the nucleus to facilitate the cell growth and cell differentiation process. It can also modify the genes encoding proteins which regulate cell proliferation. Proliferation means increase in the number of cells. Differentiation. Differentiation means the conversion of one type of cells into another type of cells. For example, you have studied in physiology the red blood cells, which are formed from the uh, single type of cells called pluripotent stem cells. That stem cells are further, after differentiation, they are converted into RBCs, WBCs, platelets, etc. Apoptosis. Apoptosis means programmed cell death. The normal lifespan of a cell. All these actions are modulated or modified by vitamin D, regulated by vitamin D. This is the importance. Okay, there are some signs and symptoms of the vitamin D deficiency. Muscle hypotonia. Hypo means decreased, tonia means tone. The normal contractual or contraction power of the muscles is the tone of the muscles. So muscle hypotonia means there will be decreased contraction of the muscles. Bowed legs. Bow means tede ho jana. The whole body weight is beared by these legs. Tibial bones, जिसको नॉर्मली टिबिया बोलते हैं, लेग्स का हमारे जो फुट का के ऊपर का जो पोर्शन है जिसके ऊपर पूरी बॉडी का वेट है, तो वो वेट की वजह से एंड द बोन्स आर सॉफ्ट, सो इट बिकम्स बेंट. Beaded ribs. Beaded ribs mean the bead-like structures, rounded ball-like structures. So the ribs looks like they are beaded, joined with each other because of the loss of the calcium and phosphate due to the deficiency of vitamin D. In children, it can cause delayed development. So if the bones are not growing, the children will not grow. The body will not be developed into a fully fledged adult. So there will be delayed development of the human body. Swelling of the ribs in joints, costochondral junctions, etc. These are some of the symptoms of rickets. In case of osteomalacia, you can expect the above signs and symptoms as well. Muscle and bone pain because of deficiency of oxygen created due to the deficiency of vitamin D. Defective bone mineralization. Bone mineralization means the deposition of calcium and phosphate on the bones is called bone mineralization. If this mineralization is carried out in the presence of vitamin D. General malaise. Malaise means fatigue, thakawat, tiredness, because there will be deficiency of calcium, so muscles will not be able to support your body. So you will feel tiredness. This is called general malaise. Lethargy जिसको बोलते हैं. Fragility, these are related things. Fragility, fractures. Fragile means nazuk, which require very much little force, and fractures, fragile fracture. So the fracture that is caused very much easily, which require uh, a little force to break. This is called fragility fracture in the adults, and these are all related to vitamin D. Coming towards vitamin E, vitamin E is a lipid soluble vitamin. It is also called antioxidant vitamin. Why it is called antioxidant? We will study its importance, so you should understand. Vitamin E is the generic descriptor for two families of compounds. Okay, there are two groups of compounds which can be called vitamin E. You know, we have studied vitamin A, we have studied vitamin D, एंड विटामिन ए की भी दो क्लासेस थी और डी की भी दो क्लासेस थी, एक प्लांट सोर्स और एक एनिमल सोर्स. इसी तरह विटामिन ई की भी दो क्लासेस हैं. टू फैमिलीज ऑफ कंपाउंड्स, टू ग्रुप्स ऑफ कंपाउंड्स आर देयर, जिनको हम विटामिन ई कहते हैं. व्हाई वी कॉल इट विटामिन ई? Why these two compounds will be called vitamin E? Because both of them have the same activity of vitamin E. That's why they are included. Both are called as vitamin E. One group is called tocopherols. One group is called tocopherols. The other group is called tocotrienols. Tocotrienols. Tocopherol and tocotrienols. Both of these vitamins are called vitamins. Vitamins. The word vitamer is derived from two words. One is vitamin and the other one is isomer. So those vitamins which are isomers of each other and which have the same biologic activity but different structures, they are isomers of each other. They are isomers of each other. They have the same biological function, but they have different potencies. The different vitamins means those compounds having similar vitamin activity. Compounds having similar vitamin activity have different biologic potencies. In simple words, we can say that vitamins are those compounds or molecules which have different structures, which have different potency, but which have the similar vitamin activity. Similar vitamin activity मीन्स अगर आप इन दोनों में से कोई भी डाइट में ले लें, अगर आप टोकोफिरोल लेते हैं डाइट में, अगर आप टोकोट्राइइनोल लेते हैं डाइट में, एनी वन, आइदर दिस वन और दिस वन, दोनों में से आप जो भी डाइट में लेते हैं तो आपको ये एज अ विटामिन ई फंक्शन करके देगा. बट द मोस्ट एक्टिव One is D-alpha tocopherol. D-alpha tocopherol. This is the most active of विटामिन ई. इन दोनों फैमिलीज में से सबसे एक्टिव डी अल्फा टोकोफिरोल है. We have studied or discussed in the carbohydrate chapter about isomers that the significance isomerism is that one of the isomer is very much active. Sometimes one of the isomer is very much active means it is very much potent. I will give you an example of potency. आपने अक्सर देखा होगा डिफरेंट मेडिसिन के ऊपर मिलीग्राम्स लिख के होते हैं. किसी के ऊपर 1 मिलीग्राम, 2 मिलीग्राम, 3 मिलीग्राम, 5 मिलीग्राम, 10 मिलीग्राम, 20 मिलीग्राम, 50 मिलीग्राम, 100, 200, 250, up to 1000 milligram. You have seen very much commonly the medicines. Why some medicines work at 1 mg and why some medicines work at 1000 mg? The reason is that the medicine that is administered in 1 mg, this is very much potent. Potent means that it is very much powerful to generate its action even in this very much little amount. And some medicines are not very much strong to perform its action at low quantity. That's why they are needed in large amount to generate its action inside the human body. So the medicine that is taken in 1 mg is called more potent medicine than the medicine of 1000 mg because ये कम से कम अमाउंट में अपना एक्शन प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है और ये बहुत ज़्यादा क्वांटिटी में अपना एक्शन प्रोड्यूस करेगा. So D-alpha tocopherol is the most potent of vitamin E. This molecule is the most potent of D-alpha tocopherol, which will give you maximum biological activity or biological action. Okay, these are the structures. This is the structure of tocopherol. You can see the difference very much clearly. This is tocotrienol, this is tocopherol. You can't see any double bond in this side chain, but you can see a double bond repeated in the same interval in a rhythmic manner. हर तीसरे कार्बन के ऊपर जो है डबल बॉन्ड है. दिस इज द थर्ड कार्बन, 2 3 again here. So there are 3 double bonds in the side chain. So these are the structures of tocopherol and tocotrienol, while D-alpha tocopherol is the most potent one. And the importance of vitamin E is free radical trapping, free radical scavenging. Free radical scavenging या free radical trapping. Antioxidant vitamin. Free radicals are charged species, charged molecules. हमारी बॉडी में बहुत सारे रिएक्शंस होते हैं. हर रिएक्शन में कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स बनते हैं और कुछ बाई प्रोडक्ट्स बनते हैं, कुछ इंटरमीडिएट प्रोडक्ट्स बनते हैं जिनकी कोई ज़रूरत नहीं होती. Those products are sometimes reactive if they have a positive or negative charged, and they can bind with any other place inside the human body. So it can cause damage inside the human body. It can cause damage inside the human body, and this damage can be reversed by vitamin E. free radical trapping antioxidant in cell membranes as well as plasma lipoproteins. तो ये फ्री रेडिकल्स अक्सर कहाँ किन रिएक्शन से बनते हैं? ये फ्री रेडिकल ज्यादातर लिपिड्स की ऑक्सीडेशन से बनते हैं, फैटी एसिड्स और फैट्स की ऑक्सीडेशन से बनते हैं. To prevent this oxidation, Allah Almighty have created vitamin E. So this vitamin E catches catch the free radical and bind it with itself to prevent the oxidation of lipids. और ये जो फ्री रेडिकल ट्रैपिंग है, ये चेन ब्रेकिंग, ये चेन रिएक्शन की तरह होते हैं, चेन रिएक्शन की तरह. तो जब एक बार ये फ्री रेडिकल की जनरेशन चेन स्टार्ट कर दे, रिएक्शन स्टार्ट कर दे, तो ये फिर चलता रहता है. एंड दिस चेन रिएक्शन कैन बी टर्मिनेटेड ओनली बाय द एडिशन ऑफ विटामिन ई. सो जहां पर लिपिड्स होंगे ह्यूमन बॉडी के अंदर, वहां पर विटामिन ई की जरूरत ज्यादा होगी और वहां पर विटामिन ई स्टोर भी होता है. जस्ट लाइक सेल मेम्ब्रेन में लिपिड्स ज्यादा होते हैं, तो विटामिन ई सेल मेम्ब्रेन के अंदर स्टोर होता है एंड इट मेंटेन द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सेल मेम्ब्रेन. प्लाज्मा के अंदर लाइपोप्रोटीन्स होते हैं, द लिपिड्स दैट आर बाइंडेड विद प्रोटीन्स. सो वहां पर विटामिन ई की जरूरत होती है कि विटामिन ई इसके साथ बाइंड रहता है, बिकॉज इट इज अ लिपिड soluble as well, so it can easily bind with the lipids, and that is the reason it protects lipids from the free radical formation and free radical attack and the chain reactions of the free radicals. So these types of reactions are called oxidative reactions, or it can be called oxidative